जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन च जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी मुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। So today we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 17, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in his youth, verse number 8. तबेत करिला प्रभु गया ते गमन ईश्वर पुरीर संगे तथाई मिलन। Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, the Lord went to Gaya. There he met Srila Ishwar Puri. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gaya to offer respectful oblations to his forefathers. This process is called Pindadan. In Vedic society, after the death of a relative, especially one's father or mother, one must go to Gaya and there offer oblations to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, hundreds and thousands of men gather in Gaya daily to offer such oblations or shraddh. Following this principle, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also went there to offer pinda to his dead father. Fortunately, he met Ishwar Puri there. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Ithinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 17, verse number 8, translation. Thereafter, the Lord went to Gaya. There he met Srila Ishwar Puri. Hare Krishna. So, in his youth, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying in Navadip Dham, he saw that the Vaishnavas, the devotees of Krishna staying in Mayapur and Navadip, they are not happy. They are very distressed. Why they are distressed? Because the Vaishnavas are seeing that all the other villagers, they are not doing bhakti. Some are atheist. Atheist means those who do not believe in the existence of God. Some are impersonalists. Impersonalists are those who think the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is formless, nirakar, nirvishesh, without qualities, nirgun. Then some are demigod worshippers, those who worship Ganesh or Kali or Brahma or Shiva or Surya or Durga and consider these demigods or devis to be Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some are outright asuras. They themselves don't serve Krishna, but they criticize others who are serving Krishna. They harass and torture devotees. And some are sense gratifiers. Whole day they are only busy enjoying their senses, eating, sleeping, drinking, earning money. So when the Vaishnavas in Navadip, they saw most of the population are not practicing Krishna consciousness, they didn't like that situation. They felt painful. This is Swabhav. This is quality of a Vaishnav. It is called compassion. Karuna. Not corona. Karuna. Karuna means compassion. Compassion means para dukkha dukhi. When a sadhu sees others in distress, he also feels distress. And then out of compassion, he tries to relieve others' distress. How to relieve others' distress? A Vaishnava knows that why people are in dukkha, why people are in unhappiness, in misery. That is because of their bad karma. That is because of their papa. When a person performs pap or sinful activity, he gets a reaction. That reaction is called misery. He becomes miserable. So the cause of misery is pap, sin. And the cause of sin is ignorance, agyan. And that agyan is rooted in forgetfulness of Krishna. In other words, because I forget Krishna, I am in ignorance. Ignorance that who am I? Who is my father? Who is God? What is my relationship with God? So because I am forgetful of Krishna, I am ignorant, agyani, no gyan. And because I am ignorant, I commit sinful activity. And because I commit sinful activity, I suffer the consequence. I am in misery. So Vaishnava knows the only way to help people come out of their suffering to come out of their distress is that the forgetfulness of Krishna has to be removed. That means they should again get connected to Krishna. That means people should again revive their devotional service. They should again revive their loving relationship with Krishna. They should develop sambandha with Krishna. So a Vaishnava sadhu who is compassionate, he preaches. He goes out, door to door, home to home, city to city, country to country, to enlighten people about Krishna consciousness. To tell people that you are not this body, you are spirit, soul, part and parcel of Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we serve Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is preaching. And a Vaishnava is 24 hours engaged in the missionary activity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to go town to town, village to village, to preach Krishna consciousness. And now, due to lockdown, if devotees cannot travel, they don't stop preaching. They use these modern online techniques to preach. And people get connected and they hear Krishna Katha and they get benefit. That's compassion, karuna. So the Vaishnavas, they were feeling compassionate. They were feeling distressed. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the Vaishnavas are in so much distress. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood that now it is time for me to start my preaching and make these people devotees. And when people become devotees, when atheists become devotees, when Mayavadis become devotees, when impersonalists become devotees, when demigod worshippers become devotees, when Buddhists become devotees, when sense gratifiers become devotees, that is the success of Krishna consciousness movement. Then the Vaishnavas will be happy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his desire to start preaching, he thought, first let me complete one duty. And he wanted to go to Gaya and offer Pindadan and Shraddh for his father Jagannath Mishra, who had passed away. In Vedic society, householders, grahasthas, they have a duty towards the departed souls in the family, towards the pitras, towards the ancestors, towards the father, mother or grandfather, grandmother, or their father, mother, or their grandfather, grandmother, towards the previous ancestors who have departed. And when they serve Vishnu and offer oblations in the name of Vishnu for the benefit of their ancestors, then wherever the ancestors are today in some body, they receive spiritual benefit and material benefit. So through Vishnu we can serve even the dead people whom we love. That's the duty of the grihasthas. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to offer Shraddh for his father and for the other ancestors in the family. So he went to Sachi Mata, who is widow now because Jagannath Mishra had died. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wife Lakshmi Priya was a young girl who just got married to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Chaitanya approached Sachi Mata and said, my dear mother, I want to go to Gaya to offer Shraddh for our father, for my father, for your husband. Sachi Mata started crying. She can't live without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lakshmi Priya started crying because she has so much love for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sachi Mata never wanted to live even one moment without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like Yashoda Maiya, when Krishna went to Mathura, Yashoda Maiya was crying and she became mad and she became so distressed because she can't bear the pain of separation from her darling Krishna. Same Yashoda Maiya is Sachi Mata. So she was crying, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that I am not leaving you. I am just going for a few days to Gaya. This is my duty towards my father. This is my duty towards the ancestors. And I will come back quickly. You please allow me, give me permission. And finally Sachi Mata agreed, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with some of his students, he started his journey towards Gaya. On the way to the journey, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went through so many towns and villages, and because of the touch of the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all these places became pilgrimage places, dhams. They got purified. And he would sometimes discuss philosophy with his students, discuss religious scriptures, and sometimes they will talk here and there, and sometimes they will joke, and various temples they will see on the way. They will take darshan, and they will take bath in the river and stay in the forest under the trees or in some villages. So like this their journey was going. During the journey, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he exhibited the pastime that he became sick. He had fever, bukhar. He had high temperature. So the students got concerned, and they brought some medicines, but that didn't work. They tried to bring some jadi booty, some herbs, and some vaidya, and some doctor and physician, but nothing worked. His fever didn't decrease. Day by day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's fever was increasing. So all the students got worried. They didn't know what to do. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told the students, look, I know the medicine for this fever. Whatever the Ayurvedic doctor suggests, it will not work. The only medicine is if I get Charnamrit, if I get the water which is washed the feet of a Brahmana, a pure Brahmana, then my fever will be subsidized, reduced. So then the students found a pure Brahmana in the village. They washed his feet, and they collected the water which has washed the feet of the Brahmana, and they brought. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu drank that water, and his fever went away, and he became cured. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally teaching that one should worship the feet of a Brahmana. One should very happily take the dust of the feet of a sadhu. One should very respectfully worship the lotus feet of a sadhu and wash the feet and take the Charnamrit, take the water which has washed the feet of a devotee, and that will cure the material fever. When Krishna, as Dwarkadish, received the Brahmana messenger from Rukmini Devi, he made him sit on his own throne, and he washed his feet and drank the Charnamrit, and he made him lie on his own bed. And when Sudama Brahman came, again Krishna washed his feet and took the Charnamrit and made him lie on his own bed where Rukmini Devi sleeps with him. And Rukmini Devi was fanning him. So Krishna himself serves the Brahmanas, and he washes their feet and drinks the Charnamrit. And Krishna says in 3rd canto to 4 Kumaras that when I myself worship the feet of my devotee, who in this universe will not do it? So this is a very great fortune to invite a sadhu to our house and wash his feet and take Charnamrit and feed him nice prasad and offer all the kinds of services for his comfort and provide his needs. And in that way our house is purified and our life is successful. We get blessings, and by that blessings we advance in spiritual life. One does not advance in spiritual life by one's skills or talents or knowledge or some mechanical activity or wealth or power or position. No, no. One advances only by blessings. And when we offer nice service to devotees, then we are blessed, and that blessings help us to grow in spiritual life. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu set an example, and then he reached Gaya, and in Gaya he did Shraddha for his father at Brahma Kunda and took bath. And then he went to Chakraved, where one can take darshan of the lotus, of the imprint of lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And there is a big imprint of lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, and so many tulsi leaves were offered, and so many flowers and garlands were offered, and so much prayers and shlokas were recited in glorification of the lotus feet, and so many brahmanas were sitting there and offering stutis, offering glorification. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came there, he was so happy to have darshan of Lord's lotus feet. Krishna's lotus feet are not ordinary. Lord Vishnu's lotus feet are such that even the water which washes the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu becomes Ganges water, Mother Ganga, and Mother Ganga can purify any sinful person who takes bath. Lord Shiva happily takes the water which has washed the lotus feet of Vishnu on his head. Lord Brahma happily takes the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu on his head. Mother Lakshmi, who is desirable by all the people in the world, very happily, joyfully, eternally massages the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, and she doesn't leave that lotus feet. Mother Lakshmi is chanchal, restless. Chanchal means she doesn't stay at one place for long time. Sometimes one is rich, then other time he becomes poor. And sometimes one is poor, then other time he becomes rich, because Lakshmi doesn't stay at one place for long time. But since eternity she has stayed at the lotus feet of Vishnu, and she loves to serve the lotus feet of Vishnu. These lotus feet of Vishnu are worshipable for all the demigods, for all the great leaders. And Akrura, when he picked up Krishna from Vrindavan and took him to Mathura, he requested, "My dear Lord, please come to my house and please touch your lotus feet in my house. If your lotus feet come in my house, then I will be purified. My house will be purified. My family members will be purified. My ancestors would be purified." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he saw the beautiful darshan of lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, he developed ecstatic love for Krishna, for Vishnu, and tears started coming from his eyes, uninterrupted, unbroken stream of tears, as if Ganges is flowing, waterfall from higher height of a mountain coming down, tears were flowing like heavy rain. And all the Brahmanas were surprised to see a young, handsome, golden youth person having so much devotion, tears coming from his eyes like torrents of rain. At that time, Ishwar Puri, the disciple of Madhvendra Puri, he appeared there, chanting the holy name of Krishna, absorbed in Krishna's love, Krishna Prem. And he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Ishwar Puri. Immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered obeisances to Ishwar Puri, and he was so happy, and Ishwar Puri embraced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I am so fortunate that I am seeing you today." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that I came to Gaya to offer Shraddha for my father and my Pitras. And in the Brahmakund, when I offered the oblation and Shraddh, that was for my father. By offering Shraddh, you deliver to one ancestor. But by seeing you, just by seeing you, my millions of ancestors are delivered. That is the benefit one gets by just seeing a pure devotee of Krishna. That is the benefit one gets by just coming in contact with a pure devotee of Krishna. One pure devotee blesses us, then our life is successful. If we get opportunity to have darshan, to hear or to associate or to ask a question or to offer some prasad or service to a pure devotee of Krishna, then our life is successful. We don't need anything else. So the most important item in the execution of devotional service is to offer our life to a pure devotee of Krishna. One pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON, he traveled all over the world, and we see today there are millions of devotees, and they are all happily executing Krishna consciousness, and this movement is spreading more and more. In last 50 years we have millions of devotees. So that's the power of one pure devotee of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, just by seeing you, I feel so happy, and my millions of ancestors have been delivered. Then Ishwar Puri smiled. He said, my dear Prabhu, I know you are expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead, because I feel so happy by seeing you as if I have seen Krishna. So I know you are Supreme Personality of Godhead. And yesterday I got a dream that today I will meet Krishna, and today I am meeting you. So I am so happy, and in this way they both interacted. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, and he continued his performing oblations at various ghats, Yudhishthir Ghat and Ram Ghat and Bhima Ghat, and offered Shraddha to his ancestors and his father. And then in the afternoon, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his room, he was cooking. He's cooking a meal for himself. So his lunch cooking was over. At that time, again Ishwar Puri came to his room. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy. He offered him a seat, he washed his feet, he offered his obeisances. And Ishwar Puri saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had just cooked prasad. So Ishwar Puri jokingly said, oh, it seems I have come on a right time. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled. He said, yes, you have come on a right time. I request you, please honor prasad here. Ishwar Puri said, no, I was just joking. I can't eat. You have cooked for yourself. How can I eat? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please, it will be very great honor for me if you accept prasad at my place. I will be very happy. Then Ishwar Puri said, but what will you eat then? Chaitanya said, no problem, I will cook again. It will not take much time. Ishwar Puri said, why you are cooking again? Whatever you have cooked, make it half. Half I will eat, half you will eat. Chaitanya said, no, you eat full, because it's only for one person. I will be very happy if you have full meal here. And with very great love, he offered full prasad to Ishwar Puri, and Ishwar Puri accepted the prasad, and he was very satisfied. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered him a garland and sandalwood pulp, chandan, and after washing his hands and feet. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was serving Ishwar Puri, Mother Lakshmi in Vaikunta, she was seeing this pastime live telecast. Like now we are hearing live telecast, the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lakshmi Devi felt very bad that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will have to cook again, my husband will have to cook again. So invisibly she came down in the same kitchen and cooked a nice bhoga, nice prasadam for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that he doesn't have to cook again. And then Ishwar Puri left, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had nice prasad. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu served Ishwar Puri. The next day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met again Ishwar Puri on the bank of the river. And he paid his obeisances, and he folded his hands and humbly requested, my dear Ishwar Puri, I request you, please accept me as your disciple. Please initiate me into worship of Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. He doesn't require a guru. He doesn't require initiation. But still he is doing it. He is accepting Ishwar Puri as his spiritual master. Why? To teach us. When he came as Lord Ramchandra, he accepted Vasishtha Muni as his guru, and he also learned from Vishwamitra, sage Vishwamitra. When he came as Lord Krishna and Balaram, he accepted Sandipani Muni as his guru, and he stayed 64 days in the ashram of Sandipani Muni as a brahmachari, and there he performed menial services like going for bhiksha and taking care of the cows and cleaning the house and ashram and massaging the feet of Sandipani Muni and collecting wood in the forest and sleeping on the floor and doing all kind of brahmachari services. And then now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is accepting Ishwar Puri as his spiritual master to teach us that when I, Supreme Personality of Godhead, come down, I accept a guru. Who are you not to accept a guru? We should not think that I don't need a guru, I will just read books and I will advance in bhakti. Independent study of books will not help us. We need to surrender to Krishna. And Krishna says how to surrender to him. Tad vidhi panipatena pariprashnena sevaya. By approaching a bona fide spiritual master who comes in a sampradaya, who has a perfect character, who has a pure soul, who has a pure heart, who follows what he speaks, and whose senses are in control, and whose etiquette and behavior is perfect, who is a gentleman, and who is intelligent enough to engage us in Krishna's service as per our nature, who doesn't want our blind following. Such a bona fide spiritual master, we surrender to him, and that is equal to surrender to Krishna, because surrendering to Krishna is done by surrendering to his representative. So Krishna emphasizes this in Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna sets his own example as Lord Ramchandra, as himself Krishna or Balram, or even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requests Ishwar Puri, please accept me as your disciple and give me diksha, give me initiation. Ishwar Puri said, my dear Prabhu, I know you are Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I know in every incarnation you accept a spiritual master, and now you are wanting me to do that service. I'll happily do my service. You please take bath in the river and come back. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, took a bath in the river and came back, and Ishwar Puri initiated him in Krishna mantra, and that way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got initiation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, before starting his preaching, he went to Gaya to receive the mantra from his guru, so that now he can come to Navadip and spread the holy name of Krishna. And that way the mantra becomes bona fide when it is received from a spiritual master. Any activity we do in Krishna consciousness becomes bona fide only after it is authorized by our spiritual master or our managerial authority. If we do an activity independently out of our own free will, which is not authorized, then Krishna will not accept it. It's like if I start printing some notes, currency notes, dollars or rupees, it will not work. The government has to authorize, then only it will have value, purchasing value. I can't just print my notes. So our activities, in order to make it devotional activity or devotional service, has to be authorized by the spiritual master coming in a sampradaya. Then only we become purified. Otherwise, that activities which are not authorized are karma. And by doing karma, we become entangled, karma bandhan, and we fall in the cycle of birth and death. We go to hellish planet. So then after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received the Diksha mantra and he chanted the holy name of Krishna, so he developed so much Krishna prem and ecstasy that he started crying in pain from separation from Krishna. And whole day and night he would chant the holy name, and he would say, where is Krishna? I want Krishna. And he would cry, and his students who were with him, his associates, they would try to pacify him. Please don't cry. You are a grown-up man. Krishna is in your heart, and Krishna is in the form of the holy name. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not getting pacified, and he told, I will not come to Navadip. You all go back to Navadip, and I will go to Sri Vrindavan Dham. I will go to Mathura, and I will search for Krishna there. Because the ultimate goal of life is to search for Krishna. The ultimate goal of life is to develop love for Krishna. Anything else is useless. So why should I waste my time going to Navadip? And the students were trying to pacify him, but he was not getting pacified. And then at midnight, when everybody was sleeping, nobody was there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left and he started walking towards the road onto Vrindavan, and he was crying and he was becoming mad and he was chanting Krishna's name and he was searching where is Krishna and where are associates of Krishna, and sometimes he was falling down unconscious, and in this way he was going towards Vrindavan. Then suddenly there was Akashvani, there was some voice, some sound from the clouds. You can't see who is speaking, but the voice was there, and the voice said, "My dear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please do not proceed to Vrindavan now. Now you go to Navadip. The purpose of your incarnation is to preach to all the non-devotees. And once you preach Krishna's holy name, then it will spread to all over the world, in fact all over the universes. And finally you will achieve Vrindavan at a proper time. You will achieve Krishna at a proper time. But now you please return to Navadip and do your preaching." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by chanting the holy name, he got absorbed into so deep bhav of Krishna Prem that he forgot everything. But his incarnation is for the purpose of preaching. Preaching is more important than just our emotional bhav for Krishna. Of course, we should develop emotions and feelings for Krishna. We should develop love for Krishna. At the same time, we are in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. We are in the mission of Lord Chaitanya, and we have to preach also. So devotee should spend his time in such a way that he practices nice bhakti and he does preaching also, both. Or assist in preaching activities, assist the preachers, and in that way our bhakti is stabilized and steadily progressing. Somebody who artificially tries to renounce the worldly duties and preaching activities and just rushes to Vrindavan thinking that I am a great elevated devotee will end up committing offenses in Vrindavan and he will fall down. And there are thousands of such examples where people immaturely have gone to Vrindavan without proper guidance and they have failed. They ended up doing offenses and sinful activities, and then their life is devastated. So one should be very careful. Walking on Krishna conscious path means walking on a sharp edge of a razor or sharp edge of a sword. If you are walking on a sharp razor's edge and you are not careful, you will have a cut and you will have a wound and blood loss will be there, blood will come out. So Krishna consciousness progress means it has to be under proper guidance. We can't just fool around or play around. So after hearing that Akashvani, after hearing that sound, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart became pacified and he came back to his room, and with his students he came to Navadip, and there he started his Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan, and he gave the holy name to public, and then later on he took sannyas, and gradually the holy name spread all over India, and by Srila Prabhupada's efforts and ISKCON's effort it is spreading all over the world. So we see the process of Krishna consciousness is authorized. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached the holy name after receiving it in a bona fide way from Ishwar Puri. So whatever activities we are doing are authorized by Srila Prabhupada, and we should not deviate. If we think I am smart enough, I have read so many other books and I can add something or subtract something from what Srila Prabhupada has given, then we will completely fail. Completely fail. We should follow what Prabhupada has given. No addition, no subtraction. And in that way, our spiritual life is protected. Okay, we will end here. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you may please type in the comment box. I will read the question and give an answer. श्री चैतन्य चैतामृत की जय, श्री ईश्वर पुरी की जय, श्री कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। There are no questions, so we'll end here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.